Think of that. Recently, I received an email from Donna H. Thank you, Donna. Donna sends me some nice stuff, and one of my very valued members. And she said to me, she had seen some analysis regarding a rare chart formation and wanted to check it out with me. And that is the Three Peaks and the Domed House formation. That's actually a pretty famous stock formation, credited to George Lindsay from 1971 as he was doing some stock market analysis. And then, and we talked about that a little bit. And then this week, Jeff Hirsch, the son of Yale Hirsch, pretty famous from the Stock Market Almanac, he came out with the same analysis. And he said he thinks that, well, maybe it's not the big negative that this pattern has brought in the past, but maybe 20% on the downside for the stock market. That's pretty negative, isn't it? I thought I would take a couple moments here and share that stock pattern with you so you could get an idea. Famous because it was the pattern that he was studying, that's George Lindsay, back around looking at the 1929 stock market. So I'm going to share a couple slides with you, and here are a few actually, and give you an idea what Donna shared with me and what Jeff Hirsch was talking about this week, and what George Lindsay had discovered. Let's take a look at this, and this is the model essentially for the Three Peaks and a Domed House pattern. So it's pretty clear when you look at this what that is. I mean, you can see that there are essentially three peaks right in here. 1, 2, 3. They have all of these moves labeled. I'm going to show you some less labeling when you look at that. So there's your three peaks, and here is your domed house pattern. Now it's not really clear. Is this the domed house where those are the domes and this is the house, or is this the domed house up here? Never was sure about that when I look at it, but that's the famous three peaks in a domed house pattern. Let's see how that looked when they were looking at it in 1929. So here is 1929, three peaks in a domed house. Scary, huh? Because that's the pattern that George Lindsay discovered. And there you could see it pretty clearly when you look at that, right? This one's really clear. 1, 2, 3 peaks and your domed house in here. Or is this the domed house? That's that question I keep asking. But there you see it's pretty clear when you look at that. And then, of course, what did that bring? Well, it brought the crash of 29, 49% decline, well, in just a matter of days when you look at that. So you think it's a pretty rare pattern, but that did happen again. As a matter of fact, here is 1987. Well, wait a minute. I just showed you that chart, right? 1929. Let's go back. There's the 1929 chart I just showed you. Here's the 1987 chart. Well, it's pretty scary. It's identical, right? I was sitting in a bar with some friend one day at the Mercantile Exchange talking about this. His name was George, also interestingly, and had this, we were talking about it, and I know George remembers that pretty clearly because we discussed it. And here's your 1, 2, 3 peaks and your domed house, 1987. And the huge crash of 87. So you could see the big break right there. So now let's look at one more chart. And here is 2017. Is this three peaks in a domed house? Well, that's what the case that Donna brought to me and that Jeff Hirsch is talking about. There's your three peaks. Is this your domed house right in here forming? If that's the case, that could be a lot of trouble, because that would be the same pattern. And well, what would that look like if you overlaid the model of that on this chart? And you could see, well, there's the model again, right? So I want you to remember what that looks like. And here is what we're doing right now. This is 2016, 2017. And there is your three peaks right over here. This would be your domed house right over here, right? And that then sets up this pattern here if they're right, and you get a big break. All you would have to do is break under these recent lows at around 23.22 on the S&P 500, and that would then satisfy that whole pattern and say that, well, maybe it's happening again. Well, I wanted to share that with you. If you follow me, you follow the analysis that I have recently done, then you would know that I've been talking about a correction coming in the market, that I think we're in a top formation right now, and that might be a little while, could be a little more complex, and that I said 2,000 points in the downside. Well, if Jeff Hirsch is right, well, that would be like 4,000 points. If it's about 20%, I was being conservative when I said 2,000 points on the downside. So that is, something that I think you could think about, whether or not that is a possibility. And when I think about the weakness in the commodity markets, and when I think about the movement into the flight to safety things, I gotta wonder, this big plunge in iron ore, the weakness, 65 cents down in silver on the week. What is that all saying? Well, maybe there's something to this. Maybe it's something worth thinking about. Maybe there's some adjustment that you want to make in your overall portfolio. If you want to see that video that I did, become a level 1 member, and we've put it into we've made it free now on my big picture analysis on the stock market. Highly technical, lots of cycle stuff, and some good information that backs up the fundamentals that could be bringing us to that type of decline. So become a level 1 member. It's no cost, and you'll be able to see that video.
Well, I'm going to the city and I'm gonna do a steady show. And I know all my fans wanna learn how to make some dough. I've been